think it's we've got to get to a level of toughness. When things are going south on us, we're not stopping the bleeding. We've got to be able to, I told them earlier, like that is going to be that's what's going to help us is when we figure out how to be able to, if somebody keeps punching you, like they just keep punching us, we've got to be able to respond to it. We've got to give some of that back. And that's where we are. We've got to get to another level of mental toughness.
Last year, it felt like that was a struggle, even offensively for you guys. You'd shut down a little bit in moments like that. How did you overcome that at times last season?
I think some experience. I think just we changed the lineup a little bit. Just we decided to go to work on the defensive end of the floor more at practice, and that's kind of the issue. We don't have any practice time to go fix this right now, so we've just got to figure out, we just have to get better, more mentally tough.
Chloe, then we'll go Cassandra next.
Aliyah talked about, going up against veteran teams like the Sun and New York. Just how much of it is a process to, get chemistry, especially with a young team and 2 new starters?
Yeah, it's a process, but there's a level that you have to, when it just gets too much, when people are just continuing to punch you, we've got to figure out how to stop them and give it right back to them. And we just we're not matching that. We're not matching that level.
Cassandra, then we'll go Scott.
You said the other day the schedule is unbelievable. It's unkind. What kind of small wins or goals are you looking for within this stretch of the schedule from your team? Especially, you talked a lot about that mental toughness part.
Yeah, I just, we missed a lot of easy shots around the bucket tonight. I think that plays into how we go down and play defense at times. That's mental toughness. We've just got to get an attitude a little bit when people score on us. You just can't let it be so easy. And let them just get, do what they want to do on us. It all goes back to just having a little bit of fight, passion, toughness.
Scott, real quick. Owen, can you move your light off the top of your camera? Just out of the screen a little bit there.
Christie, so much of what we
Scott,
saw in the preseason, too, is trying to try to get out in the fast break. But how tough is that when you're not getting stops and you're grabbing the ball out of the net?
Yeah, I mean, you can't run if you can't get a stop. And then but then when that happens, we have to make sure that we're executing. We've got to execute in the half court. But we've got to get stops. We've got to find a way. They've got to have a little bit more pride, and we've got to get stops so we can do what we're really good at.
Go Brad, then we'll go Zion, front row.
Coach, as Caitlin's evening goes on, the defense against her clearly is kind of a tight focus for the other team. What are you telling her kind of, say, at halftime or after this game here about what a positive maybe you could take away from her first performance here at home, or just because she continues to figure out this offense?
Yeah. Well, it's a process, and she's going to be fine. She's figuring it out. She just needs to get a little bit of confidence right now. I think she's, taking some shots that she normally would knock down. But Naja Laney is one of the best defenders in the league, and she's just making it. They're making it really hard on her. We've got to do a better job of finding ways to get her some easier, more open looks.
Zion, go ahead.
Christie, when it comes to the offense, you have so many talented scorers, but just how do you balance out just finding out, 1 or 2 kind of main focuses of the offense to be able to score efficiently?
Yeah, I think if we're going to run, you got to have a post that can get out and run. To hold down the defense on the inside, you've got to have some gets and some drags happening in the front court. You got to have some screens that are set. You got to have people have come off and create spacing. Like, that's what we can be so good at, is giving these downhill drives. I can't wait to go and watch this game and see how many downhill drives that we had and how many shots once we got those downhill drives that we just didn't finish at the rim. Like, we just did not hit the shots that we should be hitting. Like, I can remember 15 or 14 of them that we've counted.
James, go ahead.
Christie, what do you think shifted in the third quarter for Caitlin and for the team with the offense? She had the 3, then she drove foul, then had the swing, the grace for 2 free throws.
Yeah, we started getting stops right then. I think we were only down 11 at the end of the third. We had a group in there that was getting stops, and we were able to make some shots, but we had to get stops, and we finally were doing that with that lineup.
Third row on the right.
You kind of touched on this a little bit, but with all kind of the hype and the anticipation for this season, how important is it to keep perspective with the schedule and kind of the struggles with a young team?
Yeah. We are a young team, and it's still a process, but at the end of the day, you have to have some pride, and I just feel like tonight, we've got to do a better job of, we had 17,000 fans here tonight, and we can't thank them enough. I mean, awesome fans. It got really loud when we cut it to 11. They were yelling defense, and that's exactly what it was. We've got to do a better job. We've got to make the fans proud, with what we put on the floor. And I will take it. We didn't do that tonight, and that's unacceptable.
Zach, go ahead in the back.
Whether it's Caitlin or any other rookie, how tricky is it to have someone be such a big focus of your offense when they've been in your building for less than a month?
I mean, that's the WNBA, and that's what we deal with, and, she's a high-volume scorer, shooter. She's our point guard. So now our players who have been here, it takes time to get used to how she plays. It takes time for her to get used to how they play. It's just a process.
Got one last one on Zoom. Christina, want to go ahead?
Hi, Coach. In the third quarter, you guys went on a run against the Liberty. What were some positives that you'll take away from that run, again, in the rematch on Saturday?
Yeah, I think we scored 12 and held them to 4 during that span. Again, I can't say it enough. I've got to find 5 that'll get out there and defend without fouling, and just be able to stop somebody so we can get out and run and do what we do on offense. You don't win a lot of games in this league only scoring 66 points, but also you don't win a lot of games giving up 102. So we've got a lot to figure out.
I mean, we've played some teams that, they're veterans and they have that connection and they know exactly what they're doing. Our communication on that end definitely just has to increase, especially when we're playing teams that know each other like the back of their hands and they're making the backdoor cuts and their posts. Like tonight, they both can pop and shoot the 3. And so definitely just amping up our communication on that end, and probably stop fouling. I know Coach probably going to say something about that, but just keeping people in front of us.
Lou, being new here, what do you feel like this team is still working through from a chemistry perspective with a bunch of new players and a newer head coach?
I think there's quite a bit that we need to learn about each other and about ourselves. But if we can dig deep and play as hard as we can, play as tough as we can for 40 minutes, we can probably make up for some of that. But we have lapses where things just escalate and you can see us kind of dip. So it really comes down to just playing with a lot more energy, playing harder, communicating louder, like little things that we shouldn't be saying in this press conference right now, but that's really the stuff we need to take care of next game.
James, go ahead.
Aliyah, to that point, what do you think shifted in the third quarter to let you all kind of get back into it?
I mean, our energy, the crowd was great. They were just into it. And so I think we just have to be able to feed off that, but from ourselves, and not necessarily need the crowd for it. But, I mean, we got stops, possessions after possession that we're able to convert on the offensive end. And we played hard. So we're just going to have to do that more consistently, especially through 4 quarters.
Chloe, go ahead.
Yeah, KD Lou, you went down in the third quarter with what looked like something with your knee. You came back, but is there anything going on there?
I'm going to just really bang knees really hard, so it's just stiff.
Zion, do you have one?
Aliyah, when it comes to the offense, it just feels like there's not a lot of rhythm out there. What are you feeling and sensing while you're out on the court that is leading to some of the offensive struggles?
Yeah, we get into our sets, and sometimes we do get a little stagnant. I mean, that's just going to come with continuing game by game, practice by practice, being able to make reads off each other, making sure that we're cutting, just being able to have more spacing, because when we had spacing, I mean, it was obvious, like, we were able to get to the basket, we were able to create our own shot. And so just making sure that we're able to do that, just get more of a rhythm quicker.
Go Mike in the front row, then we'll go Alexa in the second row.
Yeah, Aliyah, a little bit of scuffle there with John Quell. It looked like as a post player, you were just trying to kind of, hold your ground, so to speak. Can you talk about that, especially, going against a team like this that has such other veteran experienced post players and what you're trying to establish out there?
Yeah, New York is talented, and just how you said, they have established post players, veteran post players, and so for me, just trying to hold my own, making sure that I'm just making it hard on them, because when the ball's on the other side, they try to make it hard on me, and so just being ready possession by possession, because especially for me guarding John Quill, I mean, she can pop and shoot the 3, or she can post up. She's a big body down there, and so just being ready per possession.
Alexa, then we'll go Brad on the left, too.
Katie Lou, a lot of early momentum came from you. How did you kind of just channel that early on and hopefully try to have everyone else kind of follow on and catch that fire?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to be someone who's consistent every game. I'm trying to hit the shots that I get and be someone we can rely on, be dependable. But I think I could have contributed a lot more other things in terms of rebounding and helping, as you can see. But like I said, I'm just trying to be consistent, and when I get those shots, I want my teammates to trust that I'm going to knock them down.
Brad, go ahead.
Aliyah, you all are playing every other day here for kind of these next 10 days. How do you kind of avoid swimming upstream and try and get your feet under you with the schedule not doing you any favors?
Yeah, I mean, you just have to do what you have to do to recover, and take the time when you get it. Just how you said, like, we don't really have that many days of a break in between games, and so we just have to be ready and recover.
Go Scott, then we'll go Matt in the back right.
Katie Lou, I'm curious offensively, what more changes do you feel like you need to see in terms of spacing and getting into the offense, kind of like Aliyah was alluding to?
Yeah, moving, executing. I think it's things that we go away from when things kind of get a little bad, and then it seems like we as a unit kind of like freak out and stand still. Whereas I think if we just continue to move and try to cut more, that can really help. I think we left, Aliyah and Alyssa on an island sometimes when they're posting up. We need, as guards, we need to get movement and cut to the basket and maybe open some things up.
Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, Aliyah. Caitlin was saying that what you guys have practiced for Connecticut didn't really translate. Just what did you guys kind of do over the last 36 hours to prepare for New York, and where do you think it kind of went south?
I mean, throughout the game, you look at it, we prepared for them, we watched film, we practiced for them. And when you look at the end of the third quarter, like, we were back within 10. And so I wouldn't say that it went south like the entire game, because we fought back, and that's something that we've just been working on, just making sure that we don't put ourselves out. But it's that fourth quarter that we just have to, as a unit, just how Lou said, just dig deep and find what we need. But the good thing about our schedule is that we see them in 48 hours, and we just have to be ready for that, because obviously they're going to come and compete, and so we just have to be ready.
Go back left to Andrew there.
Yeah, Aliyah, Katie Lou, whoever. Caitlin, obviously 9 points tonight, still adapting to this game. What's your message to her just now, a couple games in, just how she's doing and how do you keep her spirits up? Because obviously the competition level, WNBA, is a little bit different than college.
Lou, you want to take that one?
Who did you say? Oh, Lou.
I think so, both. You said both?
You got it,
Yeah, I think just
Sorry.
continuing to let her, like, people are playing her hard, people are playing her aggressively. We can do a better job of trying to help her get some space and help her get some freedom. But, we trust her, and we want to keep figuring out how to work with her in the best way. And like I said, I think we can continue to help her get some space, because teams are really, really, really hounding her full court, 94 feet. So we got to do some stuff as a unit to just flow better with that.
Then we got one more back row middle.
Yeah, either one of you. How would you kind of describe the home environment tonight and the crowd to start the season?
Yeah, it was great. You heard them every step of the way. The energy was great. You heard them cheering. That's what we need. The fever is definitely on the rise, and we're just continuing to put in the work, and so it's great home court advantage.
And I will say we will give the crowd more energy than we gave tonight overall. I think we can give them as much as they're giving to us. So that's something that will never happen again. We will be giving as much energy as the crowd.